This is my review of the Led Zeppelin album Physical Graffiti. It was released in 1975 and produced by Jimmy Page. So this is an album that I can still remember buying, but I can't really remember like when it was. The camera moves, it's because the cat's playing with the tripod. Stop it, kitty. Anyway, so yeah, this album, I remember getting into it right away. It's always been one of my favorite Zeppelin albums. I always kind of listened to the first CD more than the second. I've never had it on vinyl, so I'm not really familiar with where like the side breaks are that much. But I've always listened to the first disc more than the second one. I don't usually listen to this album all together. I did tonight before doing this review, and I do enjoy listening to it all together. It's just for me the double albums, especially the ones at least that it takes like 2 CDs to put them on. Those tend to be a little too long for me to just sit down and listen to all the way through at once. A lot of times I like to just listen to one side and then like maybe a day later I'll listen to the other side. Some of the shorter double albums I can listen to like all in one sitting and not really have a problem with. I don't know, some of the really long double albums I usually just do like one side and then the other like a day later. But anyway, one of my favorite one starts with Custard Pie, which I think is a pretty strong opener. It's got some like weird sounding stuff going on in it with some of the instruments that just sounds really cool. And I think that this album kind of like, I talked about this on the Houses of the Holy thing, but I think there's kind of a change in Plant's voice from like the first 4 albums that kind of starts on Houses of the Holy, and I think it kind of just continues here, which some of these songs were recorded, I think 4 Houses of the Holy, which definitely there's going to be one in a minute I talk about that was. So it's kind of just, they do sound like similar to the tracks on that vocally, I guess. But yeah, just a good opener. The second song, The Rover, always been kind of one of my favorites on here. It just has some really cool guitar stuff with it, some really cool bass stuff too. I mean, the whole band on this album just sounds great. Third song, In My Time of Dying, it's like 10 minutes, but it's one of those like 10-minute songs that I never get tired of. Just love the way the band plays on it, and I think Plant sounds really good here too. Fifth song, Trampled Underfoot. This one, just another really great song. Another one where I really love the band's playing. The sixth song, Kashmir. This one for a long time was my favorite song on the album, and probably the reason that I was the most like excited about getting this album. I was already familiar with the song from the Zeppelin live DVD that has like the desert picture on it, and I actually the version of the song that's on that DVD from I think like the Network's performance or whatever, that DVD version is my favorite version of the song, and not this the studio version actually, but just a great song still. So the second disc starts with In the Light, and this song has some kind of, I don't know, like weird like droning sounds going on with it, and it's another one of the longer tracks, but it's just one that I've always really liked. It's kind of a weird sounding track in a lot of ways, but really cool. The next song is kind of a cool guitar thingy that I can't really pronounce the name of, so I'm not really going to try. The 9th track, Down by the Seaside, another one that I like a lot. I think it's just got kind of like a brighter sound to it as well, kind of contributing to I think the overall like brighter feel of this second part of the album, kind of like their light and shade thing going on I think again. But yeah, just a really cool track, got some cool keyboard stuff going on. The 10th song, 10 Years Gone, was another kind of early favorite of mine. Just a lot of cool guitar stuff going on in this track. The next song, Night Flight, another one I've always liked. Kind of just a fun song, I think. Jones and Bonham sound really good on this track, and I think Plant's vocals sound really good as well. 12th song, the Wanton. I'm not sure if it's Wanton song or Wanton song. I'm not really sure. Another song where I really think Bonham's drumming really stands out, but another song I've always liked. 13th track, Boogie with Stu. This one has Ian Stewart, who is in the Rolling Stones early on. I really like his piano on this track, and a lot of people I think single this out as kind of the weakest track on the album. I've always really liked it though. I think I just really like that like 50s kind of rock and roll style that they're doing. I think it's basically a Richie Valens song, but one that I've always really liked. Then the 14th track, Black Country Woman. This song's I think pretty cool. It kind of rocks pretty hard for being kind of like an acoustic-y thing for the most part. And then the 5th and final track, Sick Again. This one, I think it's a strong closing track, but I think as the closing track it kind of gets lost to me a little bit, like I sort of forget about it some. But I did like the live version a lot from the DVD. It's one of the songs on there as well, but not one of the ones I've listened to more. Overall, Physical Graffiti, I think really strong double album. Honestly, like it's not hard at all for me to sit through it all in one sitting. It's just most of the time I don't have time to sit down and do that. But yeah, really strong album. I think one of Zeppelin's best. Just got some of their coolest songs on here, so definitely